Hi, you want to learn how to build an end-to-end data project in Microsoft Fabric by implementing Medallion Architecture? In this video, under 2.5 hours, we will be ingesting structured and unstructured data using API, build bronze, silver, gold layers of the Medallion Architecture, and we will also be building a metadata-driven pipeline to ingest the data in Fabric Lakehouse. And then we will be using pyspark notebooks to transform the data in silver and gold layers, and then use the gold layer data to build a Power BI report from scratch. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. This is Reena. In this video, we'll continue with the Fabric series, and we're going to work with an end-to-end real-world data project and by implementing Medallion Architecture. If you are just starting with Fabric, please check out my previous video, and I hope you are also as excited as me. And if you find this video, please like and subscribe it. It really helps me keep going on. So as I mentioned, we're gonna in this video work on a mid-size retail business. We're calling it Shopping Mart, and we will be working with their structured transactional and inventory data, which is coming from their OLTP database, and unstructured data, which is basically coming from their social media, online product reviews, weblogs, capturing the user engagement, whether they are clicking or taking any action or just viewing when they visit those websites. And with the help of this data, the business wants to understand the customer behavior, sales trend, inventory management, because they're selling all different kind of products, home goods, fashion, sports, and they want to manage the inventory better using the data, and they want to understand is the online engagement of their customer base and what is the product sentiment of the customers, so that they can build strategies to boost revenues and enhance their customer satisfaction. I have this high-level design. This project we will be building by implementing Medallion Architecture, and we'll be building Lakehouse for each layer of the Medallion Architecture: bronze, silver layer, fabric, gold layer. We'll be ingesting the data, both the structured and unstructured data, using data pipeline, and this time we will be working with a metadata driven pipeline. We'll be then working with the pyspark notebook to cleanse and transform this data, and then build a semantic model on top of it, so that this data can be is business ready and utilized for Power BI reporting. Let's first get started with it. You must be wondering, what is Medallion Architecture? The term comes into your picture when you are working on designing a lakehouse from the scratch. So it's basically a data design pattern to logically organize the data in a lakehouse. It was popularized by Databricks in their Delta Lake ecosystem. Now it has become the industry standard. Fabric also recommends Medallion as a recommended design approach. And it has three different layers, zones: bronze, where the raw data sits, and then you have the silver layer where enriched, validated data resides, and then you have the gold layer where the enriched or curated or business ready data is available. So you have three different layers, and each layer indicates the quality of the data. As you move higher in the layers, the data quality improves. So now let's look into these zones a little more into detail. Okay, so as I mentioned, in the bronze zone, you have is the raw data. You stores the source data as was in its original format, whether it was a semi-structured, unstructured, file or table format. That is to maintain a source of a truth or enable reprocessing or traceability or auditing in the future. And then the data moves to the silver zone, where it's also known as enriched data zone, and data is cleansed, standardized, schema is validated, Data is deduplicated if there is any duplicates. And then you have the final curated data where data is aggregated to make sure to meet any downstream business or analytic requirements. Basically, you have the business ready data. From the gold layer, the data can be used directly into Power BI using the direct lake mode, or which is a new mode. We'll talk about it in more detail then, or you can also make use of SQL analytic endpoints available in Fabric. You can work on the Delta Lake tables to analyze this data or build reports or visualize it. And here the data is available in Parquet format. We covered a little bit more about these concepts in my previous video. If you haven't checked it out, you can go ahead and check it out. Fabric Lakehouse, let me just quickly go over it. Fabric Lakehouse is basically where you have your files, your tables, your folders, and you have shortcuts which could be internally to a different lakehouse or external data. It acts like a database over a data lake. It uses make use of Spark engine and SQL engine for data processing, and has asset transaction feature available because it uses open source Delta format tables. So it combines the flexible and scalable storage of a data lake and also provides ability to query and analyze the data, as like in a data warehouse. It provides asset transactions. When I talk about Delta table, you will have a Delta symbol on the right bottom corner of the table, and when you click on it, the data will basically reside as a Parquet file. Here you can see. And you will have a Delta log folder on top of it, which will log all the transactions and make asset properties feature available for it. Now we're going to work on this project. We're going to be implementing it using Medallion Architecture. And as part of the Medallion Architecture, we will be building 3 different layers, and then we're going to build a report on it, which will include KPI metrics, trend over time, the sales trend over time, and also include top 5 customers by sales or top 5 products by reviews or sales, so that the business leadership team can come and take a look at it and take some actionable insights from it. So now let me show you the data, the GitHub. So we have 2 different folders. We have one is structured data, which will include orders data, customers, and products as CSV files. And then we have unstructured data, which include product reviews, social media, and web logs. I have made it available here. You can so we will be ingesting this data using API. So now let's go back to the Fabric. So when we come to home, it looks like this. And I hope you have Fabric trial activated. If you haven't, go ahead and check out my previous video. So how you can set that up. Now for this demo purpose, we need to create is also, I think now we are seeing is something known as task flow. So it's way data flows in a workspace. So it gives you a visual representation of that. And they also have available as a Medallion one. We can make use of this to show you how you can use this Medallion task flow to implement Medallion architecture in your Lakehouse. Let's go ahead and first create a new workspace. We can name it as Shopping Mart Analytics. Okay, you have just, if you want to put an image, you can put it here. Make sure that it is assigned to the trial capacity. Okay, yeah, looks good. Let's go ahead and click apply. Okay, so now we have our workspace ready. Now let's add a pre-design. Okay, we have Medallion, and let's select this. Okay, so on the right side you can see that it is basically it organizes the data in a Lakehouse and progressively improving its structure, quality through each layer from bronze to silver to gold, and resulting in high quality data that is easy to analyze. And these are the different tasks you can see here visually. So first will be obviously ingesting data here. and we need to first also make a bronze data layer where we will ingest the data. So first let's create a bronze layer Lakehouse. We're gonna call it shopping mart bronze. Okay. Create. Okay. Yeah, so our lakehouse is ready for the ingesting the data for the bronze layer. We get tables and files. Right now it's empty, so we're gonna go ahead back to our workspace, and now we're gonna ingest our data. So first let's go ahead and click on new item, and it's giving us okay, so we can change also the task flows. You can edit or change names of these tasks. So we're gonna go ahead and change this, just the data ingest. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a data pipeline. We're gonna use a pipeline for this, and we're gonna name it shopping mart data ingest bronze layer. Okay. Now it's creating our pipeline. Okay, so now our pipeline is ready. Now let's add activity. So we're gonna use copy activity. Now let's go ahead and add the copy data activity, and then we're gonna copy the data using the API. So let's give it a name. Copy is removing is shopping mart bronze layer. Okay, it's the API. Okay, so now let's give it a source. For that let's create a new connection so I can show you from scratch how you can do that. So click on view more. These are all the different connectors available for copy data activity, and then you use we're gonna use HTTP, and let's make a connection to this repository. Okay, let's give the URL. Okay, now let's give it a name. So we're gonna name it as shopping mart data. Oops. Okay, yeah, now let's go ahead and create. It's gonna create a new connection for us, and now let's test the connection. Perfect. Now let's provide the relative URL, which will be the rest of this from the raw file. Yeah, to get this, you need to navigate to the repository. Click on the repository here, go to the structured data, and then click on the file, and then click on raw, and then you should get this URL. We need to use this. Okay, now let's provide the rest of the URL here. Okay, now this is which file format it's asking for. It's a CSV, so let's provide a delimited text. Now we need to provide a destination. Destination is you should see your Lakehouse. If you don't see it, you can click on more and check it out under one lake catalog. You should see, and we're gonna store this as a file. So let's give it a name. We haven't created a new one, so it will create. Just give it a name. So we want is, otherwise it will store under your files and directly into the files. We want to give it a, okay, bronze. This is orders data, so let's just give it order. Should save it as a file, CSV file. Okay, yeah, so now this looks good, and now let's validate this. Copy activity, and now let's try to run it. Save and run. Okay. Yeah, as soon as the pipeline starts, you could see that the status here, which part of the pipeline activity is running. So this is under queued status. Now it's progress. Still in progress. Okay, so now it has run successfully. We can see the change if you go back to your workspace and then go to the Lakehouse, and you should see, yes, it created under the files, it created a folder shopping mart bronze, and if you click it, you should see your orders CSV file. Okay, so if we now go to the repository, we will have 6 different files, and then we'll have to otherwise create here 6 copy activities. You can do is copy it, and then it will create it, and then you can give it connection to another file, but that will be manual process. Here you will change the destination, the source here of each and every file. Then you'll have to give the file path and the file name. I do not want to do that. So in a real world, we are going to parameterize this. So you can see that we are providing here 3 different inputs. The file name for the destination, and the folder directory name, and we are providing the relative URL. And we are going to parameterize this by making use of the lookup activity and for each activity, where the lookup will capture the value in these 3 variable inputs that we talked about: relative URL, destination directory name, and the sync file name. And then pass it on to the for each activity, for each where like if you have worked with for loops, it will run for each of those variables, run the copy activity or any other activities which are inside the loop. For this we need a metadata file which is capturing the details for these variables. So for that we will create a JSON file for structured data and unstructured data. So this way your this whole data ingestion process can be captured with just the master metadata file, and anyone, if there is a new addition of the source data is going to be, so we just simply have to change the metadata, and first step of the process will be taken care automatically. So then an engineer would not have to come and build a pipeline from the scratch, and it has those advantages. So now let me show you how will we create the JSON file for that. Okay, yeah, so this is the JSON file for structured data. So I'm providing the source URL for each of the files. It's basically, JSON file is JavaScript open notation file format, where the values are captured in form of key value pairs, and we create dictionaries, and then on top of that everything is enclosed in an array. So here we will have 3 parameters: source URL, sync folder name, and sync file name. We provide these inputs. So right now we have 3 different data: orders data, customer data, and products, and there's structured. And then we have is our unstructured data. Here also we have 3 JSON files. I have stored that under GitHub repository. You can take the files from there. Okay, so now first we'll be storing that file under your Lakehouse, from where the lookup will reference this file, metadata files. We can directly upload the files there, or we can use a copy activity. Let's make use of the copy pipeline. We can deactivate that step, or we can, let's see how we're gonna integrate that as part of the data orchestration. So for example, let's deactivate this one. This is gonna copy is shopping mart metadata files. Okay, and then it's gonna do is first we're gonna let's open the structured metadata file, and let's open the raw. Let's get the URL. Okay, and this is not delimited, this is JSON, so just make sure the file format is correct. Destination is we're gonna put it in the shopping mart, meta source metadata, and then this is for structured data files. Okay. And here also we're gonna save it in JSON format. Okay. Yeah. Now our list looks good. Let's validate this. Okay. Okay. So this looks good. Now let's go ahead and run this. Save and run. Okay. Yeah. So our pipeline is running. Should not take much time, just one file needs to be copied. Okay, yeah, so now it has done. Now let's go back to our and let's refresh this. We should see our folder and our metadata file. Okay, yeah, so this has created our shopping mart source metadata folder, and under that we can see the structured data file. Okay, okay, so this is done. Now we're gonna create as a lookup activity which will reference this file. So let's add a lookup activity here. Okay, so this is lookup lookup shopping mart metadata structured. Okay, so this is gonna do reference to that. We already should have a connection. Yeah, if you don't see your Lakehouse, you can click on more, and under one catalog you should see your Lakehouse. It's loading. Yeah, we can see our and which table or file we want to reference. So here we want to we don't need to check under subdirectories. We know exactly the folder and the file path name, so let's give it, and we don't want it to read just first row only, and the file format is JSON. Let's give it that. Okay, file path name, directory name, go back. So our directory name is this, so let's copy this. Okay, and then the file name is this, so we can copy that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this now looks good. Let's validate this, and let me show you the output and what we're gonna use. Yeah, so our lookup activity has run. Now let's look at the output. So here if you see, it's providing the count of the the values, the key value pairs, and then under the value this is giving us our dictionary, the array. So we will be taking input from this one. Okay, so now let's add the for each activity. For that we can go to the activities tab, and we already have here, or you can click on three dots and get from here for each activity. So that should be same. Okay, and we're gonna configure this. Let's give it a name for each source structured file. Okay, you're gonna copy, and let's give it a settings. So yeah, this is we're gonna take input from this for this, and then we're gonna need to provide here the value, which we can add add dynamic content, or Yeah, so we want the from the value array, we don't want the count. So you just click on here, so add activity, and this is the name of our lookup activity. From this activity we want to take the output, and from the output we want the value array, so this is the name of the array. First is giving the passing the name of the activity, which is lookup activity, and then we want the output, and then we want the value array. Okay, so now go ahead and click OK. And now our for each is configured. So we wanted to copy the data, so we're gonna use this and click on this edit, and we're gonna add this copy activity here. It's gonna run for each of the output the value array. Now let's configure this activate. Source is fine, so our file format is CSV. Yes, that's correct. Now we do not want to be manually added, so we're gonna just remove this, and we're gonna add is dynamic content for this, and we want from from this we want is the source URL. Add item from that value dot source URL, the parameter that you passed on. Click OK. This looks good. So we have parameterized one of the variables. Now rest of it. Okay, so remove this. This also we will be adding dynamic. The folder name, so that will also be add item. We want sync folder, so that's the name we have given. That looks good. And here we're gonna give is the file name. Okay, so this also looks good. Yeah, so now this should copy our files, and also let's add a delete activity in case, like, if we do not want multiple copies of it. That will be very helpful. So let's find the activity. Yeah, you should find a remove and transform. Okay, if there is any existing files, it's gonna delete those ones. Delete existing files. Right now we're just deleting, we're not moving them to any storage account. We can do that. So this will be connection to our Lakehouse, and we're gonna provide is here the files and then directory name, so we're gonna add that dynamically. So let's add that. This also be same, add item dot sync folder. Okay, this looks good. And file name item, and then we want is sync file. Okay, looks good. Okay, and now logging, we're gonna uncheck this option, but here you can, if you have any storage account in Azure Blob Storage or S3, Amazon S3, so you can, these deleted files can be saved there. For now I think we are good. Okay, and now for all the structured source file which are saved in our repository here, they will be copied. So now let's go back to the main canvas, and now let's go ahead and run this. First validate, and then okay, close. Looks good. Now let's go ahead and run it. Yeah, so our pipeline is running. You can see here the lookup activity is showing is queued. Progress now. Okay, so now our lookup activity is completed, and now our for each activity is running for each of the files. Okay, our pipeline is still running. So this way you do not have to build a copy activity or pipeline for each of the file. The for each will take care, and just the metadata file needs to be updated, and that's it. Okay, yeah, so it looks like pipeline has succeeded. Now let's go ahead and refresh our Lakehouse. Okay, yeah, here. Yeah, so we have gotten shopping customers data here, and then we have our orders data here, our products data here. This is our metadata. This is we did one manual process, so we can delete this. We don't need it. Okay, yeah, so we have all the data here. Now let's go ahead and do the same for unstructured files. We're gonna we can create a separate pipeline, or we can just make use of this. Actually, let's go ahead and make a copy of this. Oh yeah, when you say save as, if you want to create a duplicate copy, so that's how we will do. And let's name it. We're gonna name it unstructured. Okay, save. And now, yeah, so this is one unstructured one. So this is made copy. If you go to the workspace, you should see is yeah, so you should see is C2 pipelines, for one for structured and one for unstructured. So now we're gonna work on modifying this one. This is first we're gonna deactivate this. This is for, let's get the metadata first and activate. Okay, so shopping mart metadata files, that's correct, and we need is our unstructured ones. So let's get the URL for that. Click on raw, and here we have, okay, everything looks good. Now let's provide the relative URL here. Okay, now so this will be under unstructured file. Okay, under the same directory, source metadata. Yeah, validate. Good. Now let's run. Pipeline is running. Okay, so still in progress. Okay, so the pipeline has succeeded. Now let's go to the our Lakehouse, and then let's refresh this. And now when we go to the metadata, we should see two files here. Yeah, one for the structured data files and one for unstructured data file information. Okay, so now we can deactivate this, and we're gonna make this activate, and this we're gonna activate, and we're gonna name it as unstructured. Okay, and settings is so we want is metadata. Wait a second. Yeah, so this is for our lookup. Wait a second. Everything looks good here. We want it to pick the inputs from unstructured data file, this one. So let's just correct the name here. Okay, now this looks good, and we're gonna name it unstructured. Okay, and now we're gonna configure. Yeah, so yeah, let's configure this. So we want this from the unstructured, from the value. So we saw that provides the output provides a count, and then we have value array. So we want from the value, and we want the output of that, and we want the value. Okay, yeah, so this is the name of the activity. Now unstructured looks good. Now let's go ahead and configure the activities under there. We want to delete the existing files, and this looks good. This is also now copy activity, source. So this time the file format will be let me see here. Do we need to provide? No, I think we're good. Here we need to provide the file format, which will be JSON, source and sync also. Just make sure all our unstructured data is in the JSON format. So provide JSON. The variables are the same, sync file and sync folder. If you go ahead and look at the values here, yeah, sync file, sync folder, source URL. Okay, so now yeah, this looks good. And let's go ahead and go to the main canvas, save this, and now validate this. Looks good. Now let's go ahead and run this. So now this should reference, the lookup should reference our unstructured data file, get the values for each of the unstructured data present in our repository, and then pass it on to the for each loop, where it should delete if the file already exists, and then copy the file with the provided folder name and file name in our Lakehouse. Okay, so still in progress. This way you can take care of, even if you have 100 files in your source, you just need to maintain your metadata file. You can also, instead of a file, you can use store that information in a table. Okay, so it looks like the pipeline has succeeded. Now let's go ahead and refresh our Lakehouse, and now we should see our unstructured files as well. So yes, I do see our product reviews, JSON, and then I do see our social media file, and then weblog engagement, capturing the web engagement data. Okay, yeah, so now this looks good. Let's go to the workspace. Let's attach our second pipeline also to this task. So this is also doing this first task. Now we are storing it here. Now we're gonna cleanse, validate, and do some transformations on this data, clean it. If there are any duplicates, we will try to take care of that. We will use create a Spark notebook for that. Let's head to our Lakehouse, and let's open a new notebook. Notebook is ready. We will be doing all our transformations on our bronze raw data in this notebook, and then save it in our silver layer Lakehouse. Let's give this a name. Let's change the name of this notebook. So notebook, we're gonna do silver transformations here. So silver transformations, and this is for shopping mart data. So okay. Yeah, this looks good. And now let's give it a heading. We will call it silver notebook data cleaning and integration. Okay, so we're gonna mark it as marked on, and then let's edit it. We want it as a heading. Okay, let's give it, yeah, that looks good. Okay, now we're gonna, in the next cell, we wanna, okay, so this will be a subheading. We wanna load the data from the bronze, and we wanna take a look at that. Okay, so this will also be markdown, and then we want to edit, and we want it as a subheading. So let's go ahead and choose heading 2. How does the heading 3 looks? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now next is, we want in our cell is first is import all your pyspark functions which are not by default available. So we're gonna import that. Okay, now next in our next code block, we want to read the data. First, let's import our all pyspark functions. They are not by default available. So from pyspark.sql.functions import star. So it'll import all the functions. Okay, now we wanna see and look at the data in our bronze layer files. So let's go ahead and load them in our data frame. So let's first look at the customer data. Okay, so here we have this file. So if you want to load this data in Spark, so this will create, you can create a query like that. If you just want to, I just wanted to show you how this functionality is available. So here it will display all the data you have in this. Let's run this cell. Okay, this can be very useful functionality for data exploration for your startup. Okay, so in our customers we have is customer ID, customer name, email, location, and sign up date. Okay, now so we're gonna create a data frame for each one of them. Okay, so we can go ahead and do that. So let's give it a name, actually specific name, because we don't want, this is customers, and we want the same for orders. Orders data. Okay, now otherwise you'll have to go in here you have expand that, and this is your orders. If you click on properties, copy, okay, so you can copy the relative path here for this orders data, and then you can just put that here. Let me keep this short. Okay, yeah, so this is our orders data. Let's go ahead and put that relative path here. Okay, and now same thing we want is for we have orders data, and then customers, and we have products. So we're gonna name it as products, and where is it? Next one, this is products. Let's copy our relative path, and then okay, now let's look at the data. So we can do is display. We already took a look at customers, so now we're gonna is display orders data. Let's see what do we have there. Okay, now let's run this block. Okay, here we have is order ID, order date, customer ID. Okay, this is present as string. Probably we need to change it to the data type. Customer ID, product ID, we have quantity sold, total amount, and payment method. Okay, and then let's take a look at the products. What do we have in the products? Let's display that. Let's run this cell. Okay, here we have is product ID, product name, category. So we have all these fashion, sports, home goods, electronics, all these different products here available. And then this is telling us the stock which is available for each product, and then the unit price of each product. It looks like a dimension table here. Okay, so we are good. Now let's go ahead and minimize this. We don't want to, we can hide the output. Okay, and now we can delete this block, a hide output, and mark it as delete. Now let's go ahead and create a new block, and here we're gonna do is on the orders data we just saw is we're gonna drop any nulls. We don't want drop for all the columns, but a subset, so we need to provide the subset. So we want to provide the subset of the columns. So we want is on the order ID column, customer ID column, product ID, order date, total amount. We don't want any null in those values, so it's gonna do is it's gonna drop those nulls, committing rows with null values. Okay, because otherwise the data is useless, not give us any meaningful information. Next is we saw that the order date was a string, so we want to convert that so into date. So we're going to use with column, and returns a new data frame by adding a column or replacing the existing column. So in this case, we want to replace the existing column. We just want to change the data type. So that column name was order date. Let me copy that. Order date, and then I'm gonna convert it to date. We will call it to date, and which column. So we need to provide the name of the column. Here is order date. Okay, so yeah, this looks good. Now let's go ahead and display our df. We will say display df orders. Okay, let's go ahead and run this cell and see if we are getting the input. Yeah, we want. Yeah, so it's converting. You can see here. So okay, yeah, so it's converting your order date and date column, and then making sure that we do not have any nulls for our order ID, customer ID, product ID, order date, and total amount columns. So this looks good. Now we can comment that out, and we don't need this one. Okay, hide the output. Okay, now we're gonna name it as next one. We can move that up. Let's mark it down, and we're gonna move that cell up. Let's edit it. This is a header. Okay, looks good. Now we can move this cell up. Move cell up. Okay, this is header for this. Now I do is display df orders. Okay, let's run it here. Show output. So we have is we do not have is our customer name or product name or category name, so we want to get that from our products and customers table. So we're gonna join is orders data with our customers and products, and we know we have product ID and customer ID available here. So let's do an inner join and get that information. Okay, now data frame. Okay, let's get a new code. Let's get our df orders, and now we want to go to the next line. So forward slash, and then we want to join we want to join it is df customers table, and join on is equal to customer ID. So let's get the customer ID here. We have the column name. Let's copy that, and then we want to know is how we want to join that. How we want to do is inner join. Okay, we need to add a dot here, dot join, and then we want to join is with our product div. Let's just copy this, and we want to join here also forward slash, and then this time we want to join it with the products. So let's take that. Okay, now this will be joined on product ID, that column. Okay, and now we need is df orders. Actually, we need all of these, otherwise it will not run this query. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, and we also did this operation on it. Now let's go ahead and see the display df.orders. After that, on this cell. Okay, so now here you see we are getting all the columns After the payment, till payment method, we have the orders, and then we, from the join, we are getting the customer name, email, location. So these are the information we are getting from other tables, and we are also getting product name, category, stock, and unit price. Yeah, so now we're gonna save this data frame in form of, in silver layer, all data is in Parquet format. So we're gonna save this. So we're gonna write this. We're gonna do is df dot orders, the name of our data frame, dot write, and then we're gonna give it a mode. In this case, we're gonna overwrite it to cover this. So here you can see there are different 4 different modes: append, overwrite the existing data. Just depends on your use case. You can choose here error, or error if it exists, it will throw an exception if the data already exists. The ignore will just silently ignore the operation, like, as if nothing happened if the data already exists. So overwrite, and then we're gonna give the name of the format. We're gonna save it as a Parquet file, and then we need to provide the path. So for that, so we will keep the same format here, just like this here. We need to make a small change. So instead of bronze, this will be our silver, and it's not customers data, it is our orders and shopping mart, customers order data, orders data. Okay, so that should be fine. Okay, now if I execute this query, so this is going to create is under the files here, it's going to create this directory, shopping mart silver orders, and under that it will create a shopping mart customers order data file in Parquet format, and whatever the transformations we have done here, it will execute that. But it is best practices to store this data in a silver layer corresponding to another, like Lakehouse. So we will, for example, here we have the shopping mart bronze layer Lakehouse, so we're going to create a new Lakehouse and make it as default. So let's go ahead and first go to our workspace, and for our silver data where we want to store it, let's create a new item, and we will create a Lakehouse, and we will keep the naming convention same, shopping mart, okay, 7, shopping mart silver lake. Okay, so it's gonna create. Okay, so now our Lakehouse is getting created. Okay, so now let's add data items here. Let's go ahead, existing data sources. So this is our silver layer. We will add this Lakehouse and make that as default. Yeah, set as default. So that's where our will get executed on the notebook, and it will write the data here, but it needs to read this. These files are not there. So this is where our shortcut feature, which is available in Fabric, will make use. So now let's go ahead and create a shortcut for the files which reside in our bronze layer Lakehouse. So this is our bronze layer Lakehouse. Next, we choose that. And for now, let's go ahead and create only for these 3 structured data. Okay, looks good. Now you can see that the shortcut is implied by, there is a symbol which means this is a shortcut. And now let's go ahead, and now if we run our notebook, it should write this data in our shopping mart silver layer Lakehouse. It will create a shopping mart silver orders folder here under files, and then it will create a Parquet file shopping mart customer order data. So let's go ahead and run all the cells. Our notebook is running. Okay, it has succeeded. Now let's go ahead and refresh our silver layer warehouse, and we should see the new folder. Yes, we see that, and under there we have customers order data, and there it has created a Parquet file, and it is showing success. Yeah, so we have now the silver data available here. Now let's go ahead and modify this notebook. We want to also read is our JSON file, the unstructured data. Okay, so for that we need to create is a shortcut. So let's go ahead and create shortcut for our unstructured data as well. So this will come from our bronze layer Lakehouse. Select that, and this time we're gonna be selecting unstructured data files, which will include product reviews, social media, and web engagement logs. Select next. Okay, now this looks good. And now if you go ahead, see that, let me refresh this. Okay, yeah, here we see. And now if you click on views, we can just copy the relative spark path, and then let's go ahead and add this to our DF. Let's read this data. This is for product reviews. So product reviews, and this is coming, we want to read it, the format is JSON, so we just don't actually, we don't need to. So this is how we're gonna write that, slightly different dot JSON. And now we'll provide the file name, relative URL path. So let's copy this relative URL path and should have it here. And now let's display the data in this data frame. Okay, on this block. Okay, yeah, so we can see customer ID, product ID, ratings, what is the review text, the timestamp. Okay, so it's providing is the ratings for each product by the customers and the review text. And now let's go ahead and read our social media unstructured data. So we can write that as social, and then what is the relative URL file path here? We can copy that from here, and that is this. So let's go ahead and read this as well and run this. So here we have the content, the platform, the social media from which the data is coming, whether the sentiment is positive or not, neutral or negative, and then it's giving us the timestamp. Next is web engagement data. So let's read that as well. So for reading that, we will be, let's name it as blogs, and the relative file path for this. Okay, and let's read this data. Let's run this. It's providing is what is the action the user is taking, the user ID, whether they are clicking, purchasing, or viewing, or adding the product to the cart, and which page are they on when they are doing it. Are they doing it on a blog or categories or search, and providing timestamp. Okay, so now this is our unstructured data, and this is right now in bronze layer is available as JSON files. So we're gonna in silver layer write it as a Parquet file, so that if we need to use it for any analysis or reporting, we can do that. So let's go ahead, and this will be similar format. So we're gonna be writing is DF reviews. Okay, and write mode will be overwrite, and file name. Okay, let's copy these three because we're gonna write these. Okay, so in order to come back, and again we just need to provide it actually is where do we want this. So we just need to change is this. Let's go ahead and keep this same. So we're gonna just name it as silver, naming nomenclature and shopping mart review, but this is coming from in silver layer. And then we're gonna write for social data, and then for weblogs, the name of the data frame. So this, and this file is going to be the name of this. I see there's a double S, and then this is going to be silver. Looks good. Last is our weblog engagement, and we want to write it in our, let's go ahead, this will be our silver data. Okay, yeah, so now this looks good. And okay, let's provide this a heading, and then let's edit it, and we want it as a heading. This looks good. And here we are writing this to silver, writing data to silver layer. Okay, marked done. And let's edit it and provide it a heading. Okay, yeah. So yeah, these two blocks are going to do that. This is doing for structured data, and this is for unstructured data, converting into Parquet. Okay, now let's run this, run all cells. So run all. Okay, looks like our pipeline, so our notebook has run. Now let's go ahead and check our silver layer. Let's Lakehouse, refresh this. Okay, yeah, so here we have our silver layer data available in form of Parquet format, and all the files, yes. Now we're gonna do is further refinement and aggregations on our silver data and move it to the gold layer, which will be business ready data. So let's go ahead, go to our workspace. Let's create, where are we going to store this data? In a gold layer lakehouse. So let's create a new item and create a lakehouse for gold layer. We're going to name it, keep the same naming convention. This will be for gold layer. Create. Okay, so our lakehouse is ready. Now we're going to create a new notebook. Let's open a new notebook and we're gonna name it, let's change the name of the notebook. We call it Gold Transformations Shopping Mart. Okay, looks good. So now to read any data, we right now don't have any data in our gold layer lakehouse, so we need to create the shortcuts. Let's go ahead and create the shortcuts here. Let's go to the lakehouse, the gold layer lakehouse, and now let's go ahead and create the shortcut. And we're gonna choose a silver layer in this case. We're gonna do the transformations on that, and now choose all the silver layer data files, orders, reviews, social media, and weblogs. Go ahead and create next. Create. Okay, so now we have our shortcuts created, and now we can go to the notebook and let's give it a heading. Okay, so let's mark it down and let's edit this. That looks good. Okay, now we're gonna load, let's go to the next code block. Load the data in our data frames. Let's refresh this so we can see the shortcut. Yeah, now we can see. For orders, so orders, let's go to df, and we're gonna actually first is import all pyspark SQL functions as they are not available by default, so we have to make them. And now let's load the data in data frames. So we're gonna spark.read.parquet, and we're gonna provide the relative URL path, and which you can click on three dots here and click on copy your relative URL path and enclose it in the double quotes. Let's do the same for the reviews, and the relative URL path here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and display this df. Okay, let's run this. Okay, it's running. Okay, so now we can see the data here, and now let's go ahead and load the data for the other silver layer, unstructured data. So we have social and the relative URL path we can copy from here. Same we're gonna do for the silver, the weblogs, and we're naming it weblogs and the URL path. Okay, yeah, so we have the data here, let's run this. It's running. Okay, so now our notebook has run. Now let's see the output. Okay, so here for the web engagement, what each user is doing on each page, what action they're taking, are they taking clicking, purchasing, viewing, adding it to the cart. So this is data we have. Now the goal here is we want to do is aggregations. So we want is basically the goal is aggregate the weblog data to measure any the engagement per user on each page and action. So we're gonna do the aggregations on the weblog df. So for that, use weblog.df dot group by, and now we're gonna provide the columns on which we wanna group by. So here if you show output, so here we have the column is action, page, and user ID. So hide the output, so we're gonna use is by per user, and what is the on each page, and what is the action taken. So action, this will aggregate and we want to count that, so count, and let's display this. What is this doing here? Weblogs df. After that we want to write it in our code layer. This reading statement. Let's run this cell. I can see the output. Okay, so it's throwing an error. Let's look at the error. So it's saying is a column or a function parameter with the same cannot be resolved. Okay, I think we are giving the column name incorrect. Let's go ahead and just see it here. It's user underscore ID. Okay, so let's just correct that. User underscore ID, and now let's run this cell again. Okay, now here you can see that for each user, what is the count on each page for action. Okay, so now this looks good. So next is we want to do is social media data. Let's do the aggregations on that. Goal is basically we want to aggregate the social media unstructured data to track the sentiment trend across different platforms. So for that, let's go ahead and use our social df. It is here, and we're gonna do the aggregations here. So social df is equal social underscore df dot group by. The name of the columns are platform, and let's display here social data so we know the columns. Let's run this block. Okay, show the output. So we have platform and sentiment, so we want to count this in sentiment for each platform. Okay, and sentiment, and let's display this data just to make sure it's working fine. Okay, run this block. Okay, so now we can see on the Facebook the neutral sentiment is account is 335, on Twitter is neutral is 334, negative is 360. So yeah, this looks good. Now next is our product reviews data, and our goal is basically we want to aggregate the product reviews to calculate the average rating per product. So for example, product 1 was rated 2 times. One was rating was 5 and the other rating was 2, so average rating will be 5 plus 2, 7 divided by 2, that will be 3.5. So let's write the code for that. So this is just reading the data, and now we want to reviews df and reviews df dot group by. We want to group by is per product, so product ID, just be sure. Okay, product ID dot, and we wanna is do aggregations on this. We wanna calculate as average, average for the rating, and we're gonna give it an alias. So we're gonna use dot alias for that, and we wanna name it average rating. Okay, and now let's display this df reviews score df. Now let's run this code. Probably okay, so column name we need to make sure product underscore ID, not, and also let's see the rating is rating. Okay, let's run this code again. Yeah, so now we can see the average rating for each product here. We have 51 products, so yeah, that looks good. Now we want to write this in the gold layer, these data, so let's write this weblogs df dot write dot mode. We want to same use overwrite, so we want to save it as Parquet, and let's give the file name. So file name for weblogs will be follow the similar naming structure, and just we're gonna, instead of silver we're gonna make it gold. This is in our gold layer, so okay, this looks good, and we can comment this out, and we can use the same one for here. Okay, let's reuse this code, just change the name of the df. So this is social df, and here the file name will be this. Change the silver to the gold layer for the naming convention. Gold, we don't need this. Okay, looks good. This is reviews df. And the file name will be okay, this is stored in gold layer. Okay, now next is we can comment this also out. This is our aggregate KPI 1. This is our KPI 2. And we built our KPI 3 here. Now let's write next code. We had orders data, we had already transformed in our silver layer. Right now we're not doing any transformations on that, so we can just give but store it in our gold layer. So let's give the name here, and let's file, okay, file name, here it is. Instead of silver, this will be gold. Okay, yeah, so now it looks ready. Now let's run all. Now our gold layer transformations should be done, and now our data will be business ready for reporting. Still running. Okay, it looks like it has run. Now we're gonna go and refresh this. Refresh. We should see our gold layer orders. Yes, we can see our orders data here, and yes, we have the Parquet. Then we have our reviews data here, and then we have our social media, okay, and weblogs. Okay, yeah, so we have the data here. Next is, let's go to our workspace. And we have completed this step. Shopping mart. Okay, there should be an item attached to the when the data. Okay, so this should be, let's attach. So this was done through the pyspark notebook, the transformations on the bronze layer, and then we did the transformations on the silver layer using the notebook. So let's just attach that here. You can click on here, and then we use this notebook for transformations. Okay, so this looks good. Now we're gonna do is we're gonna visualize this data. We're gonna create a new item to create the report. If you go ahead and try to create a report, you may, if you have data available only in a Parquet format, you need to have Power BI desktop download on your machine and then connect to that. In Power BI service, that functionality is not available. For that, we need to convert our files into Delta Lake tables. So let's go ahead and go to the gold layer and load to the table. So it's going to create a new table. Refresh this. Okay, so yeah, this is a gold layer, and now load it to the Delta table. Shopping mart, gold orders. So we want to save it as Parquet, load, and okay, now it's loading. We're gonna do the same for the other. So this is, yeah, this has created a Delta table, and if you click on here, it's loading. Okay, yeah, so you can see here in our table the data for the order. So now we're going to do for the reviews and the social media and the weblog. Let's go ahead and create Delta table. Save it as Parquet. Let's go ahead and if we click on view files, yeah, you can see here each Delta table has actually data stored in the Parquet file, and they create a Delta log folder on top of it to give it asset transaction properties. So that if you want to query this data, you can query it using the SQL analytic endpoints. Okay, so we have created reviews Delta table. Now let's go ahead and create our social media data. Parquet, load, it's loading, and then the last one, the web engagement data. Okay, now let's load it. Okay, now it's loading. Perfect, now we have the data. Now we're gonna create is a semantic model based on that, so that we can use that in our Power BI. We can name it as shopping mart LD model. Okay, and what are the tables that we're gonna select? No, we don't want to select all. Let's show us. We want to see the tables. Let's go ahead and see the tables. It's showing. Let's refresh this again. We're gonna cancel this. Okay, let's refresh this one more time. LT and then model, and this is creating in form of direct lake mode, so it's connecting to that. Under dview we should see our tables, and yeah, these are the tables, not all tables we want to choose. We're going to choose these specific ones in case we get more tables in our, okay, confirm. It's creating the model. Looks like our model is ready. Now let's make changes to it. This is our main fact table, orders table, and this is our the product reviews, and this looks our social media sentiment, Okay, and this looks our web engagement by each customer. Now let's make a relationship. So we're gonna connect this product ID to the product ID. Sorry, what is the product ID to product ID? Okay, so this will be a many one-to-many relationship. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and here we're gonna make user ID to the customer ID. Was same as that. Okay, save. Okay, now here we have only platform and sentiment. Okay, so this is going to be a separate table. Now we also need is a date table, which is very important if you're developing a Power BI report. So let's go ahead and create a new date table. We don't have a date table right now, so for that we'll use this query date table. Actually, I have this query. So it's going to create us from 2022 to 2024, 3 years of data continuous date table. These will be all the different columns available here. So yeah, okay, let's go ahead and create this, and then we're gonna mark it as date table. Okay, so this has been created. Now we're gonna mark it as date table. Okay, which column? Date. Correct. Okay, looks good. If we need to use time functions, this will be useful. So now we're gonna connect this date to the order date, and here this will be one-to-many. Yeah, that looks fine. Save. Okay, so now we have our date table. Okay, now let's go ahead and see making sure do we need to change any columns here in this one. This is category 80, which is available as text. Customer ID is text. Customer name, location, order date, product ID, product name, quantity. Okay, quantity is available as text, doesn't make sense. Quantity should be in number. So let's make it a decimal number because we right now don't know how much. Okay, that's format is fine. And now sign up date, that should also be a date or a date time. So we'll just make it date time, that looks fine. Okay, and now stock is in the form of number, how many the stock of the product. So let's save it as decimal. Looks good. Total amount, that should not be text, that should be in the form of currency. Do we have that? Okay, let's just save it as decimal. And format, we want to do it is in form of currency. Okay, unit price also should not be date, decimal. And then we want the format as currency. Okay, so this looks good. For gold reviews, we have average rating and product ID. That's fine. And then platform name, text, it's fine. Action, count, phone number, user ID. Okay, so now this looks good. And now we're gonna create a new report on this one. Create a report on this model. Let's give it file. We're gonna save it as, let's give this report the name. We can name it as shopping mart RX LD KPI. Okay. We can assign the task later. Data visualize, it will come. Okay, so yeah, it's in this workspace, shopping mart analytics. This is the name of the report, and we're assigning it to the task data visualize. Let's save it. Okay, Now we're gonna edit it. Right now it's blank. Let's give it a name. So we can name it as choose 20 at least. Shopping mart analytics AI metrics. Okay, that looks fine. If we need to change it, we can change it later. Okay, want to keep it calibrate, that's fine. Keep it bold. Okay, and now let's go ahead and make our KPI card, and we are going to report amount sold, the revenue per day, or based on the slicer selection. So we're going to be adding slicers to this report. So first let's create this KPI card. We're gonna giving it name. Okay, so we don't want a label, so we just want the value. We want to give it a title, and the title we want to give it sales, total sales, and then we want to make it, the text color is fine, background we want to use as this probably, and that looks fine. Total sales, let's change the value, call out value, we don't want this. Let's apply some formatting on it. So this looks, we don't want it this, so we can just make it 25. That looks, make it 28. Okay, yeah. Now let's go ahead and apply some formatting. We want a visual border, and probably we want a lighter one. This looks fine. We want shadow on it, but probably we want an inside bottom. Let's make the shadow color a little lighter. Okay. Should be inside. Okay, so this is how it's gonna like stand out a little bit. Okay, and one more time, just look at the title. Let's make it bold. It becomes too bold. Okay, that's fine. Let's make it 16 so that it can be readable. Okay, now this is showing total sales so far, and I think we have 3 years of data here. And now let's make another one. We're gonna copy this, move it down, and we want to see is the total number of products which have been sold. So instead of sum of the total amount, we want the number of products that have been sold, not the first product. We want is the count of the product. And now let's data format that and a whole number. Okay, so that looks good. And now let's change the name of this. So we're gonna change the title here, total products sold. Okay, now we're gonna add some slicers to our dashboard. The slicer will be year, date. So let's give year first, and we don't want it that, we want a drop down, so let's change the slicer. We want a vertical list. Drop down actually. And do we want to select yes, show select all option. Okay, this looks good. And now let's go ahead and slicer header. That looks good. Font color, background, let's give it a background. This is slicer, so slicers background will be different. So let's change, make a slight changes to it. Slicer header. Instead of that, let's choose white color, and let's choose the background. It's a little darker. Yeah, that look. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Now let's copy this. And the other slicers we will have is month, and then so they will be all same size. Here we will have month, and then we will have day for each day if you want to see. Then we can also add product as a slicer, and then category. Okay, so now let's go ahead and modify this. So this will be month here instead of, and here will be day. Okay, and here this should be product. Let's get the product. Product, yes, product name. And we're gonna rename this just the product. And we can have its category. Yeah, here we have. Okay, now for example, if you want to do it just for 2024, you can see here the values changes. The number of products sold in 2024 were 981, and the total amount, sales amount, was 254. We can also slice this based on the month. Now let's add some other KPIs. So we want to see the top 5 products which are being sold. Let's use a bar chart for that. So we basically want to see is the top 5 products sold by sales amount, and we can pull that is product, that's product name, and the quantity, sorry, the total amount, the sales amount. Okay, here we can see that. Now here we want to apply is the top n function, because we do not want to see all the products. We just want to see is the top 5 by value is the sum of the total amount. Apply the filter, and so yeah, now you will see only the 5 products. Now we're gonna apply changes, formatting changes to it, and we're gonna give it the title, top 5 products by sales. Okay, so this is based on the filter we are filtering there. And then okay, so we want to give it the background for the header as this, and this should be, and if we don't want to see the axis, you're gonna see the values, that's fine. Y-axis, see the title, just the name of the product. Okay, maximum width, let's expand so we can see the name clearly. We can make it bold. No, we just make it same calibrate. Now we can make it bold, or just increase the font size. That should be fine. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so this is showing is top 5 products by sale, and we also don't want to see is any grid lines on this. Let's see. Okay, so these are not turned on. Okay, and we want data labels, so let's turn them on. and we want to see the bars, for which color we can apply here. I think if you want to see it, and we can apply this. Okay, this looks good. Probably we want to see is to which category they belonged, and for that maybe a table might be better. Visual, yes, because we want to see is which category they belonged. Okay. Yeah, and now let's go ahead and give it the name, title. Let's turn it on. By products, by sale, yes, that's good. And change the data format. For total amount, we want it as currency, but we want to keep it only 2 decimal places probably. And do we want to see the total for everything? I think we don't need that, so totals, let's turn it off. Okay, yeah, that's good. And now we want is, let's change the name of these columns. So rename for this, let's just name it as product, to what category it belonged, and sales. Okay, sales amount. And rearrange them a little bit. Okay, yeah, so now that this looks good. We also want to see is top 5 products by the reviews, online reviews. So let's go ahead and get that as well. So here we want to see is the product name, and then by the average rating. So we want to see is their average rating. And in this case, actually we want is top 5 products, not by the sum of the amount, but the average rating. We don't want to see the categories, we just want to see the products, top 5 products, instead of, because there is no, so clear it on the product ID, top 5 based on is average rating. Yeah, so these are top 5 products by average rating. We can add category here. Yeah, so we can add category here, see to which category they belonged, and what was their average rating. Okay, and now we wanna sort it by average rating. Sort descending. Okay, yeah, so now this is good. So we are seeing the top 5 products by the let's change the heading. So the title will be top 5 products by reviews. Okay. We also want to see is top 5 customers by sales. So let's go ahead and create that. Top 5 customers. So we're gonna bring is customer name here, and the sales amount. Okay, and we wanna find is the top 5 customers. Let's apply top n here, filter top 5, and then bring the total amount here, sum of the total amount, and apply the filter. Okay, and now change the title. This is just showing us as top 5 customers by sales, and change the data format. So the total amount, this should be in currency, and we want only 2 decimal points. Okay, that looks good. And let's go to the, this is the visual tab, and rename this visual. This is sales. Okay, so now all these visuals are being dynamically filtered based on the filter context, which includes all the filters applied in the filter pane here, or through the slicers, or any page level or report level filters. So that's what the filter context mean, and also the relationships which are defined in the model. Now we want to see is sales made for each category. So now let's add a bar chart for that, and now we want to see is for each category the total sales made. Okay, yeah, so this visual is giving us that. Okay, now let's go ahead and apply some formatting so it is consistent. It is showing us as category by sales, and it's the same. Okay, it's good. We do not want to show is any x-axis. We don't want to see any title there. Y-axis looks good. No grid lines. So we have the grid lines here. No grid lines. Okay, now we want to give it bars, different colors to each one. Maybe home goods. Home goods could be. And then we have some sports. And then we have some fashion. And there we have some electronics, which is fine. Now we want to add some data labels to this. Let's add the data labels. Now let's make sure the data labels are in correct format. We wanna, okay, this is fine. Values, yeah, let's go to the values, and we want decimal places up till 2. Okay, yeah, so this looks good. Let's stretch this and make it consistent. Okay, now okay, the title should be sales by category, and we want the bars are fine. Okay, y-axis we can make them bold. Okay, yeah, so now this looks good. So this is showing is for the year 2024. The top category by sales was home goods, which sold for 73.85k, and then it was sports and fashion and electronics. Okay, and we can add product also here if you want to add drill through here. We can add, do the drill through each one, select, and then we can add go to the next level hierarchy. Under home goods it will show all the products which are sold, and chair was the most one. You can go drill up. So this is like how you will enable a drill through functionality. And now We also want to see is top 5 products by stock. Like what is the stock for each one? Okay, now let's see. Can add that here. Okay, here we're gonna add top 5 products by stock. So here, like the quantity that is available in the warehouse. Okay, so here instead of the quantity, stock quantity, and then the category product, and we want product is not by the sales total amount but the sum stock quantity. Yeah, that looks good. Apply this filter. Okay, yeah, we want to sort it. Okay, let's change the title by stock quantity, and here let's change the name of this. Stock quantity. Okay, we want this only whole number, so we're gonna go ahead and change the data format for stock quantity, and we wanted a whole number. Okay, yeah, so here you can see is if you want to make sure that our stock is good, or do we want to sell it, buy stock quantity is really low, or if we need to cancel any order if stock quantity is high. So that is the action you can take from here. Okay, now let's also see our platform sentiment. So for that, let's create a pie chart for each sentiment. We can add a hierarchy here if you want, but right now let's just do sentiment, and then let's do the count. What is the count of that? Yeah, so here okay, let's now let's change the color of the slices. For negative we want a little red. For neutral we can keep it a gray. Positive we can try to keep it more like green if it is available. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Now let's look at the data labels. Values. Okay, outside data value percent, yeah, we want to see both, and let's see the data format. Okay, let's just give it general. Yeah, so here we have 900 something. Sum of the count 966. This looks good. Now let's change the title for this. This is social sentiment. If they want to see is, we can add a hierarchy here for each platform. So when you go to the visual, add the platform at the bottom so that you can drill down in this visual. Now let's see for the web engagement. Copy this thing. Okay, here. Now for the engagement, we want to see is sum of the count for each action, whether they are purchasing. Let me just move this a little up so we have space here and aligned it properly. Okay, yeah. So here this is showing is our web engagement trend. So we're gonna name it as web engagement, web engagement behavior. We can see here, and whether we are purchasing. Let's give the color formatting to it. So go to the slices. Okay, if you're purchasing, that's the most green thing. If you're viewing, that's the most gray thing. If you're adding it to the cart, you are closer, so that's yellow. Click, still is more like that. Okay, yeah, I think this is good. So this is showing is our web engagement behavior. So you can see that 25. Okay, let's change the how many percentage are purchasing when they go to the web pages, how many are clicking, how many are adding to the cart, or how many are just viewing. And leadership team can take an action. If they are more viewing, we can convert the more views to the clicks, so that will convert into adding the product to the cart, increasing the sales, and then finally purchasing for each step. Okay, so now let's also see is our trend, sales trend by month. And for that, I think we don't have space. Let's just increase the canvas setting. We can make it custom, and we want to increase this the height. Maybe just 900 should be fine. Okay. Yeah, so we want to see is sales by month. So we can see the trend, how the sales have been going on. So let's add month here. Month. Actually, we need to year month will be better. And then we want to see is the sum of the total amount. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Sort this axis by year month. And then sort this axis ascending. Okay, yeah, perfect. So here you can see in 2024 each month. January we started here 21k, and then in March we had 23,000 highest, and then there was a low in April. So we can see is then it lowered towards especially the end of the year. Whether we can study the effect, whether it's seasonality cause or some other cause, and how can we improve the sales in November and December. So now let's go ahead and apply some formatting here. We're gonna name it as sales trend by month. Okay, and we're gonna put in this looks good, and we do not want to show any y-axis title. We don't want to see x-axis title, so let's turn that off. Okay, that's already off. Okay, that's good. Okay. And now we don't wanna see any grid lines. Turn it off. And we wanna see any data labels. Yes, we wanna see data labels. Let's apply values. Form of white, but we will have a background added to that. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this actually in background could be, and let's make the line color changes here. Data labels. Now let's go ahead and change the color of background. Okay, yeah, so here you see the data label, so you can see so yeah, this is our report is ready. Let's just make sure these are well distributed. Category, here we have the product, and okay, so this should be our day, not let me quickly go ahead and check. It should be day. Okay, yeah, now that looks good. Now if we want to see is multi-select, also we can select for 2 years or just 2023. Yeah, in 2023 we can see what are the sales, and for a particular month also, if you want to see April or January, or yeah, so now this value changed, so we do not want this. So for this we're gonna disable the interaction. So let's edit the visual interactions. We can edit the interactions here. For this particular visual, this should not change this. Okay, yeah, that looks good. And day also should not change this visual, so turn it off. Okay, so now this is only gonna for that particular year. Let's save it. We want for 2024. Okay, yeah, here we can see all the summary here. What are sales by different categories, which are the category which is selling the most, home goods which is selling the least. As we can take an action whether we want to promote. If there is a huge difference, which are the top 5 products which are selling, which are the top 5 products by reviews, which are the top 5 products by sales, and which are the top 5 by stock quantity, what is our web engagement, are they purchasing the lead, are they clicking more, are they purchasing more, are they viewing more. Based on that we can take action. What is the sentiment? Can we launch a marketing campaign to improve that, or take some other actions? On which platform is it a negative? We can apply the drill through here. I have enabled the drill through functionality, drill down. We also have cards which are just showing, okay, so far 2024 for the month of April. We can select all. For the total sales have been 254k. These how many products have been sold. Yeah, so now our report is ready. We're gonna save it. Now let's go ahead and save it. And now let's go back to our workspace. Okay, so now we have an end-to-end the Medallion task flow. So in this project we are not doing any machine learning, so we can delete this if we want. So here you can delete it. Let's go ahead. The advantage of this is if you click on any of these task flow, you can see the items associated with that. So where is our golden data lying? This is lying in our shopping mart gold layer Lakehouse. How are we transferring the data from silver to gold layer? So this particular notebook is doing that. And how are we transforming the data from bronze to silver? So this particular notebook. And how are we ingesting the data? We're using these two pipeline. One is doing for structured, one doing for unstructured. Right now there is no volume, so we can remove this task. Now let's go ahead and add create a pipeline which is orchestrating the data overall, and adding basically the Spark notebook and Spark notebooks to the pipeline. So let's go ahead, create a new pipeline, a new data pipeline. So we're gonna name it as shopping mart master pipeline. Create. Okay, so first we will use the invoke pipeline. Okay, I don't know, did it got clicked 3 times? We need only 2. So first is we're gonna invoke is our structured data invoke run structured ingest pipeline. Okay, so we're gonna keep the nomenclature same. So this one we're gonna name it as unstructured data. Okay, and now here let's change the settings. This is gonna connect to Fabric data pipelines, and this is under shopping mart analytic workspace, and the pipeline we're gonna choose is structured. And then yeah, so this looks good. Now on success, go to the second one, which is unstructured data pipeline. Let's configure this one, workspace shopping mart and then unstructured data pipeline. Okay, so this looks good. Now we're gonna add is Spark notebook. We're gonna run that. So go to activities and go to notebook. Okay, yeah, we can see here also. You should be able to see somewhere here. Notebook, yeah, here, transform. So here, let's add 2 notebooks. So first one is silver layer, transformations, and then this is notebook gold layer and transformations. Okay, this looks good. Now let's configure this one. So this is gonna choose this notebook, and now this is gonna choose is the gold layer, this notebook. Okay, now so this is pipeline is looks fine. Now let's validate this, close. Now let's run it to be sure. So now this will be our end-to-end pipeline. Now this is running. Now it's in progress. Okay, so our structured pipeline, child pipeline has run, and now unstructured pipeline is running. Let's go ahead and see in our workspace, in our bronze layer, did it make any difference? Okay, so now if you see, let's refresh this. Okay, we have the bronze customers. Yeah, see the file has been updated just now. Orders, that has been updated. Products. Okay, that looks good. Go ahead. Now let's go back to our master pipeline. It's still running. Okay, so now our gold layer transformations notebook is running. Okay, so our pipeline has successfully run. We can also add is notifications. You can click configure this, and so we can email you on completion, whether you want it on success or you want it on failure, and you can configure what are the message, but you need to sign in an Office 365 Outlook account. So right now we cannot, but you can configure this to send you an email notification. Yeah, so uh, let's delete this for now. And you can also schedule this pipeline at what time. Schedule right now is on. Repeat daily, or you want to run it on what basis, so you can choose here what frequency. Let's go back to our workspace. So this was our end-to-end data project where we analyzed structured and unstructured data, implemented the Lakehouses using Medallion Architecture, make use of the Medallion task flow which is available in Fabric, assign the task for each stage of the item, and we built we built the Power BI report on that to build all the KPI metrics, so the leadership team can take an actionable insight from this. I hope you find it useful, and if you do, please like and subscribe it. It really helps me keep going. Until then, see you next time.